Welcome to the USC Libraries tutorials. This tutorial will cover aspects of in-text citations for the 7th edition of APA style. In-text citations address multiple purposes. Those include proper attribution of the information you use. The absence of citations for other authors' information or quotes is considered plagiarism. It also shows the reader how you're engaging in scholarly conversations on the topic. It further builds a foundation for your knowledge and conclusions. Therefore, it's important to acknowledge those sources. Citations also allows the reader to refer back to original source if they want to understand further context or incorporate the source in their own research. Additionally, APA does distinguish that paraphrasing is more desirable than using direct quotes. From an academic point of view, this shows your instructor that you're able to process the information you encountered and further synthesize it to demonstrate its significance to the topic. In-text citations follow an author and date format to indicate the source used in the text. You can vary the citation formatting either using a narrative citation or parenthetical. The narrative citation utilizes the author's name included in the text and the year publication appears in parentheses. A parenthetical citation includes both the author and year publication together in parentheses and is separated by a comma. If you're going to use a direct quote, you also need to provide a location indicator. For most resources, it will likely be a page number, but depending on the source type, it could look different. For page numbers, provide the letter P followed by a period, space, and number. In some instances, you might use a source that doesn't provide a publication date. In that instance, replace n.d. for the year for either narrative or parenthetical citations. Although the source type doesn't impact how you format your citations, there may be some variations due to the number of authors or the lack of an author. When you have two authors, you separate the authors in the narrative citation using the word and, but a parenthetical citation uses an ampersand. The two examples on the slide demonstrate how it's formatted. In some situations, you might want to cite several sources in one citation. This might happen when multiple studies come to the same or similar conclusions. In that case, you can place the sources within one citation and separate each one by a semicolon. The sources should be organized in alphabetical order, but you never would reorganize the order of authors in an individual work. One of the changes in the 7th edition is to further condense citations. When you have a source with 3 or more authors, you only include the surname of the first author followed by et al. And the year. The APA manual also states that you should use secondary sources sparingly. If you find your source citing other authors, it's best to find the original publication that your source is citing. However, if the original publication is out of print or was not translated into English, you can follow the secondary source citation formatting. When citing a secondary source, provide the author's name from the original work, but then provide a citation for the secondary source. The secondary source will appear in your reference list. Our example, Piaget, as cited in Thompson, 2014. Some sources might not have an author distinguished. There are various things you should check for to determine how to cite the source. The first possibility is that the publication could be attributed to a company or organization as the author. Now, sometimes when you have a group as author, you can also abbreviate a familiar or readily understandable acronym. In this scenario, you will provide the full name of the organization in the first citation, along with the abbreviation. In a narrative citation, you add it to the parentheses with the date. For parenthetical citations, the abbreviation will appear in brackets. Any subsequent citation, you use the abbreviation. In your reference, you'll only include the full name of the organization, with no need to include the abbreviation. Now, if there's no identifiable organization that can act as author, you will cite the title and year of the work. You'll want to use double quotation marks for the title of an article, chapter, or web page. Periodicals or books should be italicized. If a work has been designated as written by anonymous, then cite anonymous as in your in-text citation. Legal entities will typically use the title of the work as substitute for an author. If If you ever use a quote that is 40 or more words, you'll need to format it as a block quote. Block quotes do not use quotation marks unless there is a quote within your quote. Periods are placed at the end of the quote rather than after the citation. Block quotes should start on a new line and are indented about 1/2 inch from the left margin. If there are any additional paragraphs within the quote, indent the first line of each additional paragraph by 1/2 inch. Like the rest of the text, a block quote should be double-spaced. This slide has both a narrative and parenthetical block quote citation. You'll notice that the quotes have periods at the end of each block rather than after the citation. You can access the USC Library's APA 7th edition research guide at libguides.usc.edu/APA 7th. Thank you for viewing this tutorial.